Hello. So this is my NAVIC T5 electric scooter. Attempted to improve the cushion effect of the rough, kind of hard tires on cement ride, and I added this pad right here. But I also wanted to do a little more than that, so I ordered. It's from the Me Miracle, like $62 on Amazon. It's these front forks with width and suspension. And it's actually, what it's made for is, it says the Max G30 and G30 LP Segway and 9 watt. But I know somebody that has a Segway, and I kind of put the side by side on my scooter, and it looks identical, the frame, or most of it looks identical. I imagine they just kept the same frame, and maybe different companies using the frame and changed their name. I don't know. Copycat one, I'm not sure, but here's these forks, and it comes with this kit right here with some screws and an Allen wrench and a longer kickstand, because it's going to raise up due to the suspension, so it requires a longer kickstand, which it comes with, which is pretty cool. Anyways, okay, I just want to show you that. Okay, I want to show you what I did first. So this is what covers up the nut, I guess, probably for the axle. So you have to take this off. To take this off, you have to kind of pierce 4 spots. At first I was trying to pry this off, but I realized there's kind of like, you could see indentations a little bit through the reflective tape. So yeah, you have to poke through it, and then you have to find the right Allen wrench. I'm sorry I don't know what size it is, because I found it in like my mixed Allen wrench batch, but this Allen wrench doesn't come with either kit. The original scooter and the kit doesn't have this, so you have to find it, and it goes, you unscrew it like so, and like I said, there's 4 of those. Okay, so now I'm down to this point, and I know you have to disconnect the brake line to get to remove the tire. Of course, you're gonna have to remove the tire to put the new forks on eventually. But anyways, that's where I'm at. Thanks. Okay, so I went ahead and removed the other cover from the other side of the wheel, the side without the brake cable, and that's what it looks like. And then this is an 18 millimeter bolt. So I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna take this off and then the other side, and then see how I disconnect the brake cable. All right, I'll show you how I loosen the bolt. So basically I set it back down on the ground on the other side, and I'm gonna do this side. So I set it back down on the ground, and then I was able to just kind of do this. So I don't know the torque specifications, but it wasn't very that tight, but I figured I'd try it that way in case I had to put a lot of force on it. So I'm just going to take these off right now. There you go. And then that nut slides up on the brake. So somehow I have to disconnect this brake line. So I'm not sure yet. So I think I'm gonna have to take these Allen bolts out. So I'll do that, and then I'll show you the result. Okay, so never mind on what I said. So once I took these nuts off for the wheel, it basically just slides off, kind of like a bicycle, and the cable's still on there, still connected. So I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can do this without messing with that, because all I have to really mess with is taking the fork off. And I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'll see. Okay, so the kit came with the Allen wrench. So Anyway, so what I did was this is the fender well, and then there's an Allen wrench. You just take that off. It's pretty easy because it's basically just holding the fender well. So I imagine the one that's going to be hard to remove, there's another Allen wrench inside. So that's got to be, maybe that's holding the forks in place, I hope. All right. Okay, so I turned it around to access it from the top, and I moved the handlebars down out of my way. And then there's this one. It's already loose in this one, but it's pretty loose. It's not very tight, so it must just be covering up underneath. So I'm going to take it off and see what's in there. Okay, so I know that this new fork, it comes all the way up. I know it comes to up to where the other one comes up to. So I see it. I see that this is where it is. I believe I'm going to have to take this assembly off just to, I'm pretty sure, to get access to the rest of this. So I'm going to do that. And it didn't come, the kits didn't come with that size Allen wrench, so I have to use my own. Okay, so I removed these two chrome Allen bolts. What do I say, nuts? So I removed these from the where it folds over. You can see that, and then on the other side. So anyway, so yeah, this is basically just slid off like that. Be careful for that cable. Try to keep it in that same position. You don't want to end up twisting this. And then what I'm dealing with is this plastic sleeve kind of goes over it like that. And now I'm getting down to where I'm going to try to figure out how to remove this. Oh, okay, so this comes off as well. I'm going to kind of document this at the same time to show you guys as well. So now I'm down to this part, and I see like a clip. I forget what they call these. Probably have to spread this clip apart and then remove it, and then I'll get back with you guys. Okay, before I go any further, so I pried this was down in here like this, and then I pried it apart here and used the flat screwdriver, and I removed it. So this is how it looks from the top view, and then from the back it has like a bevel, whatever. So that goes like that. So that's letting you know, because that's where I'm at right now. Let's set that with the other stuff. And okay, it's funny because I actually shut off the video because I thought I was going to be trying to figure this out. But check this out. So I removed that thing I just showed you. Well, anyway, so I removed that, and check this out. I just tapped on this, and voila, look at that. That's it. That's the old fork. It was already out. Okay, cool. Then let me also point out that the old fork has a groove on, it's only got one groove on one side of the front of the fork, and then the new one has that same groove. That tells me this should be very compatible, but I'll probably have to take those bearings and move them over here. I'm not sure yet, but it's telling me that this is, looks like it's the same. Bingo, looks like this should work great. Okay, so I knew this was probably too good to be true. So this is the new fork. And by the way, I was wrong. The groove is on both sides. I don't know why I missed that. It's on both sides of both this fork and that fork. The old one, original one, and the new one. Anyways, here's the issue. So the new forks come with, I don't know what you call that, the flange for the bearings. It's for the types of bearings, I guess maybe the other types of scooters had. They sit on top of this part, and they roll around on the top of this bevel. So that's the new one, but the old one, the original I should say, has a different style of bearing, a sealed bearing. I think that's what they're called. So I think these are better, but the problem is the shaft, they're basically the same, except I'm gonna have to remove this and this sleeve right here. I don't know if I'm gonna have to use like a grinder. I don't know yet, But anyways, it looks like that's going to be a roadblock for me. So I'm going to figure out the best way. I might use a hacksaw and go like this way. And this part, this sleeve that's added for, I'm not sure, to bring it up a notch. I need to remove this. So I'm hoping it's just welded. I think it's spot welded right here. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. And then I'll let you guys know, or I'll show you some of it. All right. Okay, so once again, I need to grind this off and grind this off, and I believe this is just spot welded to right here at this nub right here. So I was gonna purchase a grinder because I have a grinder somewhere, but I'm like, I go to Harbor Freight because they're probably like real cheap, and they're like $15. But I saw this instead. So this is kind of like, I guess, a Dremel maybe, but it looks like it's got probably some good power to it. And it comes with all the accessories I need, little cutting wheels. That's the picture, of course. But anyways, I figured at the same time I work on this project with the scooter, I'll kind of review this just by using it. So I'll show you when I start cutting on this. Okay, so I already started cutting with the cutting tool. So I've cut that much. And I broke the little wheel, the cutting wheel. But I wanted to show you because this is a new tool I showed you. I got at Harbor Freight for $20. Put a new cutting wheel on it. Like I said, I forgot to record it, so I'll show you on this one. Okay, so you just witnessed why you wear safety glasses. That blade like hit my glasses. I don't know, maybe you saw it. Oh boy. But I'm almost done. I think I might actually be able to knock it out without cutting any further. Let me see real quick. Yeah, oh yeah, I did it. So I removed that. Oh, it might be hot. Let me see. So I removed this guy from here. And now I got to remove this metal sleeve right here. And I think that this holds it, so I don't know. But I'm gonna have to figure that out. I got a little paranoid now about using that cutting tool. All right, it's not the tool; it was the blade, the cutting wheel itself. Probably me from putting more force than you're supposed to on that little wheel. There's probably different grades you can buy. All right. Oh shit, dude. Well. Okay, so I used the good old Sawzall, and well, I used a little Dremel tool to remove this to put that little groove, but I used the Sawzall to get this sleeve off. I think it was just tack, it was welded on that one spot, but either way, I didn't really have a good way of getting it off, so I used the Sawzall to cut carefully, so it's not perfect looking. So I don't know, it's up to anyone else who does this, or to not do this, I don't know. Okay, so this is the original forks. This is the plastic I removed. There's Allen screws. So I want this piece right here. It probably could be pried off and just pulled off, but I don't feel like I'll damage this thing too much if I try that. So I'm just gonna cut it. So this is the Chicago Electric tool I bought for 20 bucks at Harbor Freight. But the wheel I have on here is this. It's an actual Dremel. These are really much thicker. I just found these laying around. It says reinforced, so I'm going to use this. So here's my safety glasses. And it's got variable speed, by the way. I actually don't know what speed to put it on. Here it goes. Yeah, there's no way I would have got this off without doing this. Alright, so this is definitely a superior cutting wheel. It did not try to fly apart on me. And this tool worked great. It's got some power to it that more than you really even need on it. So anyway, so I ended up cutting this. There's like an indentation line all the way around. Hold on, let me just show you. So this was on top of there, this flange for the bearing. And I couldn't get it off, so it actually has an indentation, but you want to cut at that line. That's the right length that you want this thing to be to match the new forks. So that's off. Here's the new forks again, and then this will slide down on here, and that's what you actually want. That's the original equipment for the bearing. The challenge will be is carefully getting the bearing, because this thing's a little tweaked for me cutting it. And maybe you could buy these. I don't know. I'm just trying to make do with what I got. And I don't know why that would be a problem. It's sitting flat. I could even put JB Weld on the bottom portion and then place it back, and the JB Weld will harden to fill in any voids if I felt the need. But so yeah, so it's upside down. So this is where it's actually going to go into this bearing right here. So there goes into there, and then I should be back in business. Okay, a couple things I'd like to mention. So before you move further and putting the wheel back, and I might have another issue. This is too narrow, I think, for the axle. So I'm not sure what I'm doing on that yet, but I want to mention. I know why it came with some screws, because it comes with a shorter screw, so you could reinstall the fender. And if you put the original screw, it's going to poke out from here all the way to like there. And when you're using the suspension, it's going to hit the top of that screw. So anyway, so it came with a short one, which I installed, so it doesn't poke out through there. So do that before you put the wheel back on. And then the spacer right here. Oh, I had it secured back in there, but it popped out. So that's got to be tapped back down before I finish doing the rest of this project. Okay, so when you put this back, this sits on top of the bearings and kind of wedges it in there. Make sure that that's sitting like flush all the way around. I beat it up a little bit. I know there's special tools, but I don't have them. So anyways, you want that to be like... Okay, so once you got this part flush, flat, back in there, after you, on top of the bearing, don't forget you got this part that goes there. And then make sure that you put it right. Ooh. I don't know if there's a wrong way, to be honest with you. Maybe there isn't a wrong way. Make sure you put it like that. So see what it is this right here stops you from oversteering. That when you turn, that will hit against that, and that will hit against that, and that'll keep you from, you know what I mean, rotating the steering wheel, and that wouldn't be good. And then the plastic spacer. Then you go ahead and you put the handlebar assembly back on. All right. All right, so I put both of these Allen bolts, tighten them really tight, and there's Loctite still on the... I'm probably going to take them out again and put Loctite, extra Loctite, but just for now, I want to get everything kind of together, make sure everything's cool. And then this, remember, it goes, after said and done with that, then you put this in. And this thing was not, I don't think it's doing much other than just kind of sealing inside of there so nothing goes down there. Because honestly, it was really fairly loose. I mean, honestly, what else would it really do? I don't know, maybe it's also a secondary precaution to hold it together, I guess. But like I said, it was really loose when I encountered this. So I'm going to make it snug. Okay, so there's that part. And I'm going to go ahead and lock the handlebars into position. So we're roughly done. Steering's a little tight, but that's the bearings because they're gonna have to break in that piece I put in there. So we're down to dealing with the axle. And like I said, here's the front wheel still attached to the cable, and I have to obviously, I put the fender back on like I showed you. Oh, I need to tighten it a little bit more, and then I'll show you when I encounter that what I have to do. Okay, so here's what I'm going to show you what I have to deal with next. And I don't know yet, because this is important. So as you can see, the forks, the new forks with the suspension, that didn't really state this as one of the models that it was made for, but they didn't have one that was made for the NAVIC T5. But it looks like the axle is wider than these forks. So I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm going to have to widen the forks, but I have to be careful because this is important. It's like literally serious that this is done right. So that's what I have to deal with right now. And I also think they're wider. Again, I'll have to figure that out as well. I mean, I'll put spacers if I have to, and there's enough threads. As you can tell, there's enough threads there. I may have to use Loctite. I should use Loctite, but that's where I'm at. Okay, so I needed 4 spacers. So I have 2 that are like this. And these 2 I cut with a hacksaw, and I open them up. So the regular ones, first you got this guy. It's going to go there. And this side will have these 2 spacers. And then for the other side, I have to, the reason I spread it apart on these guys is they have to go around this cable, because I don't want to disconnect that cable. All right, see, there's the other one. Okay, so I bent them and backed in the position so they can go around the cable, and I'm going to go like that. Those are the spacers for this side. So I'm going to put the wheel on. All right, so finally 100% done. So I was about ready to ride off, and I had the forks reversed because there's a little place on the fork so you can attach the cable. So I actually have this way. So I actually had to take it all apart. But we're finally done. So I don't know if I showed the whole thing. So I had to put an inner spacer, the original washer, and then another washer for a spacer on this side. And on this side I actually used 2 spacers. It doesn't really affect anything, but to get the right thickness. You could find, if you could find thinner ones, you could probably just even out, put 2 on this side, 2 on that side. They go on the inside, and then that goes back on the outside like that. And another thing I was going to say, before I was having an issue because it wasn't really on the bearing wasn't sitting properly, so I could put all my weight, and now it just turns like no problem. Like, it's not affected because it's on the bearing. But I want to demonstrate. I'm going to ride over this bump and show the difference from the front to the back. When the back hits that, it's like clunk. Okay. Here we go. Watch this. When you see when I hit the bump, watch. See? Alright, I think we're good to go. So I'm much more confident now. It's riding like it originally, except now we got the cushiony suspension in the front. Cool. Thanks.